I know I'm like a broken record on repeat. And like I said, their physicians diagnosed my this behavioral thing as the shits of the mouth. Well, I just looked up the symptoms of true Tourette syndrome, all ringing true. People ask me, why do you turn your head to the left towards your shoulder all the time, like you're hearing a voice and like looking to see who's there? Oh, apparently it's a symptom of Tourette's. Why do you sit there and shout curse words and act vulgar sometimes? It's a severe form of the tics. I had no clue. I just looked the symptoms up of it. Well, not all the symptoms, but a lot of the symptoms match Tourette's syndrome. But it could be chalked up to dementia, too. My Aunt Betty apparently got quite weird, aggressive, when she was dying with Alzheimer's complications. So. This woman gave me the craziest look today in Sam's when I started having one of the auditory outbursts. Because, I mean, it was kind of gross. It wasn't anything like, hey, baby, you're sexy, or. It was just like, let me tell you about these 6 sons of bitches. And, it was like, oh shit, shut up. It took me a minute to catch myself. And I've been going around to the neighbors trying to apologize for it. It's like, I'm sorry if, me waking up in a panic attack and going outside to smoke a cigarette or vape and, the verbal Tourette starts acting up and you guys, feel like you're being disturbed. I apologize. I truly do. I try to take the Valium more, not abusing it. Like I said, my Percocet prescription's over 6 months old and there's still pills in the bottle. This prescription is 3 months old. There's still quite a bit in it. 2 refills. Everybody thought I was just some poor white kid. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just lazy. He's a faggot. Do you understand why they left out all these serious diagnoses related to being physically traumatized and raped by law enforcement? It would have given me one hell of a leg to stand on, pressing charges and or suing them. But they ran out me being able to sue them by hazing me with alcohol when I was 19. Well, before that too. The first time the law enforcement people started hazing me was the Jackson farm. If I understood it correctly, Betsy went into probation and parole, which was no surprise, considering all the goddamn kids on Paul and Laura's farm that night getting drunk and high. Including Betsy. But you know what? Oh well. They're entitled to it. I can remember, we didn't have time to talk about gay kids and their safety, but we all had time to review the Jackson's Bahama cruise vacation photos in class. UPS must be pretty goddamn lucrative. Like I said, that's where Christy Calvert Campbell's husband worked. And guess what? We never could stay awake. We lost consciousness in her classroom all the time for some reason. Her supposed heart condition, and she kept it 40 degrees below zero in there, but other teachers kept it pretty cold too, and we didn't pass out in their classrooms. Why do I focus so much on the past? Because look at the fucking disgusting shit that happened. Ho dare teachers telling us sex sells and to never tell them no when they wanted it. Just like the teachers and their bombshell pussy whore messages via the goddamn school system's drug peddling IT. And that is the severe form of the tic. Believe me, I went through quite a bit of therapy to control my mouth until I came to a realization that, you know what? These people are going to run all over me unless I do allow my health to show, because they don't believe it. I was told by emergency medical services that I was too young for the serious illnesses that I claimed I had. I'm like, well, I can go out there and pull out that 5-inch binder full of medical documentation proving you otherwise, but I don't think I will. Another thing that scared me was, well, not scared me, but it was like the severe tics of the involuntary tics can cause you to, like, accidentally shred a piece of paper or grab a box and tear it. I'm like, oh my God, that has happened to me before. Not that everything can be excused with health, but it should be weighed into the equation very heavily. Nobody wants to live with these kind of illnesses. No chronic pain patient wants to medicate. The dry mouth caused by the cannabis products is enough to make me want to throw that away too. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit and suffer so much that I want to saw my legs off. So if you ever run into me sorry, I'm eating at the same time. So if you ever run into me publicly or have the good fortune to arrest me or detain me or something and I start cursing, please forgive me. It's not disrespect. I am not anti-law enforcement. I enjoy having people to look up to. It helps me come out of depressive episodes, having true people to look up to that would rather see, the good happen instead of just following protocol blindly. I am a very genuine very genuine person, honest to the detriment of my own health. I mean, for fuck's sake, I told the DEA about experimenting with psychedelics to help with severe depression. I'm honest to a letter. And guess what? More areas are legalizing psychedelics for therapy to help people. That is what I fucking call Christianity. Just like I told federal officials, you know what? I'm all for legislation enabling you guys, especially when you're down during one of your PTSD things. You should be allowed to medicate with things that might help. I cannot fucking imagine. Take my story for example. Look at the hell it's put me through. I can't imagine people investigating it and possibly being able to relate to it and how it affects them. I know my work at times brought me so far down I thought it was going to kill me. But we all have our crosses to bear. I do the best I can. I don't think I'm for legalizing like PCP and meth and all that weird stuff. No offense, but a meth head's one of the people that, tried to slice into me one evening. But things like mushrooms and peyote, things that have actually been studied, cultural studies, cultural history showing the uses met with scientific research weighs a hell of a lot more than, meth. But then I've had people, say, but what about Ritalin and stuff? It's meth. Yeah, but it's produced differently. It's not made out of ammonia and battery acid in somebody's bathtub. And surprisingly, it said Ritalin was a treatment for Tourette's, and I'm like, that's a bunch of shit. They tried to put me on that stuff a while back when I was still seeing Fayette County's law enforcement's physicians. They tried to put me on a stimulant to help control my mouth. Because, as one of the cops stated, the sex cops stated, the only thing I don't like about you is your goddamn mouth. Well, I thought, you know what? It's a goddamn fucking medical condition. It's annoying to no one more than me, especially when dealing with law enforcement who would rather fucking cut my tongue out than having to listen to what comes out of my mouth sometimes and me not even realizing it. But I'll be damned if I'm going to take prescription legal methamphetamine to help control it. I'm already crazy and have had a stroke. One major one. I don't need that shit. And thankfully, in Ohio, Tourette's syndrome is listed under qualifying conditions for cannabis. I notice it helps more with the physical aspect of the tremory tic things, movement issues. And thinking back on all my aunts who sit and clear their throats like they're choking to death, our family has some kind of crazy movement disorder that I think they just haven't discovered. That, or they just don't give a shit. Because believe it or not, movement disorders can cause inflammation in the skeleton, because the movement disorders cause, sort of like deformities. So that's my nice little positive for the moment. I just called for during open enrollment to switch my healthcare plan because nobody accepts it anymore. The UC psychiatric department will accept the insurance I switched to, but it doesn't take effect till December, so I have to wait until then.